Let's talk about Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Unfortunately, I didn't love this. I typically love classics. I love dystopians. I thought this book was going to be right up my alley, but it wasn't. Something I don't love in books is when they're too on the nose, or when I feel like the author is really trying to drive a point home way too hard. That's what I felt happened with Fahrenheit 451. And you just know what he's trying to say from page 1. I want a little bit more intrigue. I want to question what's right and what's wrong. I don't want somebody to just say, here's something that's obviously right, and I want you to read about it. I want to have to think about it a little bit more than just be presented with an obvious answer. That's what this feels like. This just feels like an obvious answer, just presented to me on a plate, and I'm meant to just sit there and read it and go, yep, that's what it is. What he said it is, that's what it is. Bradbury also has this way of bringing his poetry into his prose, but in this really fever dream style writing that I don't love. I want to find an example. Like, this is dialogue. I just don't feel like it works. Speed up the film, Montag. Quick, click, pick, look, I now flick, here, there, swift, pace, up, down, in, out, why, how, who, what, where, bang, smack, wallop, bing, bong, boom, digest, 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 digest. Politics? 1 column, 2 sentences, a headline. He likes onomatopoeia. I don't know. It ends up turning his stories into literary devices more so than actual stories. And it just really makes it hard for me to get lost in a story, lost in the plot, lost in the message. And I don't want to sit here and bash on this book too much, because I do think it is an important book to read. I'm surprised it took me this long to finally read it. I'm glad I read it, but it's definitely not going to go down in my history as one of my favorite classics that I've ever read. If you're looking for a better dystopian classic, I have a few recommendations. Those are going to be A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley and This Perfect Day by Ira Levin. Also, if you want to get really dark and dreary, I'd recommend The Road by Cormac McCarthy. And there's a few good, like, Chuck Palahniuk and Philip K. Dick books that really scratch that dystopian sci-fi itch and have some good messaging in them that are more intriguing and immersive than this. If you're on the fence about it and you haven't read it yet, I still say go ahead and pick it up. Just go ahead and read it, then you can talk about it, then you know what it's about. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.